Hi, good morning, everyone. And we have seen a lot of volatility today in the first initial hour of the Nifty index. But uh, we had discussed about this that the Nifty index can head higher, head lower to 24,730 or so, which was the previous low. And there was their channel support as well. It has taken support over there, and so far it is trying to bounce back. Let me quickly share my screen and make you understand the setup. Please just give me a confirmation once you see my screen. So this is the Nifty index chart, and this is the hourly channel that I'm talking about. Okay, and this is the previous low that this is the previous low that I was talking about. Okay, this low. So, anyways, let me just take the confirmation. Yeah. Okay. Great. Thanks. Wait, I'll just keep my mic nearby. Hello. Am I audible now? Uh, am I audible now? Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Sorry. I was on mute actually. Uh, yeah. Thanks. Okay. So, see, what I was saying was that Nifty index, I'll just start once again. So the Nifty index was basically, trading in a downward sloping channel. So as you can see over here, it was trading in a downward sloping channel, and somewhere around this zone where the Nifty index had a support level which was of the previous low, right? So it has taken support over there, and it is now bounced back. Even even if you see on the daily chart, you can see over here that over here the previous low was there. It is now trying to bounce back. Okay, but all this while, you were seeing me sounding bullish. One of the reasons was, when we look at the daily swing also, the oversold readings usually work when the Nifty index is above the 40, right? So now that it is below the 40, what might end up happening is that we might end up seeing some bounce at least. Okay, but whether it is a durable one or not, for that we will need price confirmation. So say for example, if I see this, okay, so if I'm drawing a parallel channel in which the Nifty index is trading, so ideally, I would want the channel and the price action breakout as well to confirm a medium term reversal. Okay, because what might happen over here is that, say this is a channel, you might end up getting a pullback probability layer, but then there is a risk that it can again falter as well. So this is now something that you need to keep in mind. And now when you're looking at swing, it is not that just you go blindly and buy it, but you need to be a little more careful and be mindful of what the setup is as well. Okay, this is one chain that is happening. The other thing is that, talking about, so then your question will be, how do we think about the sentiment indicators and where the FIs are shorting left, right, and center. So I mean, the eventual move on the upside that may happen, I mean, I don't think that is going to be derailed, which means basically, if we are at this zone, then at some point of time this reversal can happen. Okay, but the only thing, and I'm drawing some similarities to what was happening in 2023, somewhere over here. So I'll tell you, I mean, this was the practical thing that was going on at that point of time. Okay, so world market were actually very bad, and India was relatively resilient. I mean, though over here it is a different case where India seems to be underperforming and other markets are going up. But the broader trend is that when this so this came to oversold zone over here only, okay, on 3rd of March. Okay, so that's where we started thinking that, is a turnaround happening or no, is a turnaround happening or no. And at that point of time, basically we could draw a channel. Okay, and something like this, the channel was there and the markets were falling. It was a little deeper retracement. Okay, but I can very well draw the parallels over there, because we actually do provide research on India charts as well, right? So everyone were telling, why have you suddenly turned bullish, when everything looks corrective. So we basically follow elite wave to the core, and we use sentiment to judge the turning point. So somewhere at that point of time, people were questioning us over here as well. The same thing sort of is happening over here as well. The only difference is that here, so far the correction has been very small. Over here the correction was actually a lot more deeper. So if I have to measure it, how do I measure it? Yeah, so if I have to see the decline, it was not 10, it was somewhere around in double digit, 10% or so. So over here, so far we have only corrected 3 to 4% from the top. Now, from a medium term perspective, I would think that somewhere over here we have a very good support zone. In fact, even when you look at the weekly chart, okay, so the on the weekly chart, these averages, these are actually very, very good support zone. The only thing is that the 40 week exponential average is somewhere around 24,191. So that is a little deep from here. It doesn't mean that we go over there right away, but if at all, those consolidation, I mean, those slow grind has to happen, then it might be something like this where we might get where we might end up getting pullbacks from time to time. But this is one thing that we need to be open to, and that is purely because the 40 days seems to be breaking on the downside, and somewhat we are sustaining below that. The point where we will negate those thoughts would be when we break above these two highs decisively and we sustain above it. Okay, when these things happen, that's where we will be more confident that a corrective phase is possibly complete, and then we are trying to turn around. Okay, Now this is what happens when the data change. I mean, we need to change, but at this point of time, when you look at the sentiment indicators, so the short term one, which is the swing and the average swing, let me combine it both. Both are around those 20 zone. uh, Typically when they both come towards the same level, you end up seeing a consolidation or a bounce. Okay, so it can be a bounce or it can be a consolidation as well. And as I mentioned, we need to break above this resistance zone, that is, for the Nifty index it is 25,250. That's where it will start looking like a reversal could be happening. And then the medium term bearish positioning that is there, which is on the extreme side, that will start unfolding on the upside. But so far, you can sort of say that bears have the grip. So brace yourself for pullbacks in between, but to call it reversals right away might be little too much for now, especially given that we have broken some important levels on the daily chart. So that is on the Nifty index. But as I mentioned earlier, I mean, I don't know what's happening, but there are some of the other themes that keep coming up, and they are looking, I mean, and they're different themes, and they start looking good. So say for example, I went to the scanner. It was day before yesterday, and yesterday I saw this. Okay, so one was this Sharda crop chem. Okay, this came to my radar. I think the company posted a stellar result. If you see the weekly chart, okay, it seems to be breaking all the important resistance level, and it has given a breakout, and that too with a huge volume. So maybe at some point of time, we might end up seeing some correction or consolidation. But the broader idea is that a major breakout has happened over here. Prior to that, on 25th, and this was something I had showed you on the RRG chart as well, which was SPIC. Okay, SPIC. So over here as well, we saw a big gap up opening and a huge volume as well. And if you see the chart, basically there was this consolidation that is happening, and that is now trying to break on the upside. That is also in agro. So there are a lot of stocks in agro that seems to be looking up now. Now let me zoom. I mean, let me make a bigger view and show you the chart setups that what I was seeing. And in fact, today I saw one more stock, which was Shri Pushkar, and this is also into agro space. Okay, let me do the monthly charts. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Wait, sorry. So see, this is the chart. Now yeah, let me remove the band as well. So you can see over here also there was this big consolidation that was there, that was broken. It went up, pulled back. Now again it is trying to go up. The other one was insecticides India. That is also into agro. That is also now trying to break out on the upside. So basically all of them are trying to make new highs. If you see something like Dhanuka Agritech, that is also into this. That is also trying to turn around. So basically what happened over here, that there was a breakout. I mean, this is already broken out long back. It retested, and now it is trying to move higher, and all this is happening after many years of consolidation. So somewhere this is starting to look an interesting space. There was something called as KSCL, that is Kaveri seed. So over here, what has happened is that there was a big breakout that happened, right? But the prices have pulled back, and it has gone a little below the breakout point. So need to see what is happening over here. But this is Kaveri seed. Then there was one more, I think, that had given a breakout. So it was, I think, DCM Shriram. No, DCM Shriram Industries. No, Limited. Yeah. So it was this one. So this is also into, I think, agro space, and I think over there was some good result and it had popped on the upside, but so far it is struggling over here. So need to see. But the broader point is that many of the agro stocks, seems to be looking up, and this is now another theme, where all the moves are sort of sectorial and all are, trying to break on the upside. So of course, we need to see how this sector behaves. If at all we end up seeing a correction in the Nifty index, right? So right now we were talking of major support being somewhere around this 24,500 zone, uh, where the important support are for the Nifty, and also the averages where we might end up taking a meaningful support if at all we end up seeing a deeper correction. So need to see if at all the correction plays out, then how the sectors like cement, agro, and all they behave, because all of them, most of the stocks are in sync and they are moving. I mean, all of them are breaking out and making new highs. So whenever that happens, it sort of indicates that there is some sector tailwind that is there. We of course need to figure out what is happening over there, but there is this sector tailwind that is there, and that's what pushing everyone higher. So that is it. And then you know there are not major stocks or indices to discuss. I mean, FMCG was one that was sort of looking up, but then it has disappointed. Basically, it did not give a breakout from the inverse HNS, which I was looking out for. So over here, if you see, it did not break out and it did not sustain about it. So that's a disappointment for now. But as I still mentioned that the monthly setup is very good. So maybe it is trying to pass some time. I don't know what it is trying to do, but if there is a breakout above this previous high, then the setup would really get interesting. So that is another one. Then we spoke about metals as well. In fact, so I'll tell you one more interesting observation that I saw. So this is metal index. You can see such a big breakout, and it seems to be consolidating at the higher levels and respecting the monthly average as well, the 40-month average. So if you put the RMI setup also over here, I'm sure it would look good. Okay, ideally it would have, if it would have gone to the zero line, it would have been great. But nevertheless, the 40-month is holding out pretty well. So this is also something that looks good. And as I was telling you, I was trying to see the heat map. Okay, and I was trying to see the stocks which are away from 52-week high. Okay, and this I was specifically looking at Nifty because I wanted to see how the breadth is internally over there. And to my surprise, there is only 7, 8 stocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so somewhere around 5. I mean, 8 to 10 stocks are there which have fallen around 5%. Okay, rest all of them have fallen more than 5%, and in some cases you can see like IndusInd Bank, Tata Motors, they have even fallen 40, 50%. Okay, so that sort of tells you the rotation that we are seeing in the market, and that's where I think that as the rally also progresses, I mean, maybe the themes might change, or you might also end up seeing, very big divergence between the performance. So, say for example, Maruti is just down 9% from its all-time high, but if you see Tata Motors, it is down 41%. So, we will have to be a little more stock specific, sector specific, and so on. And that's where maybe a top down approach can be of good help. And that's where even the heat map can give you a very good idea as to who are the outperformers, who are the underperformers. So 52-week high, away from 52-week high, gives you a very quick sense. So you can see that energy, IT, media, reality, these are all down 18 to 20% or so. So if you are a contrarian investor, maybe you might want to find somewhere over here when the turnaround happens. But if you're someone who's chasing strength, so all the ones which are in the topmost basket over here, like healthcare, bank, financial service, and so on, that's where you might want to find your opportunities. Okay, so that is what my quick take was and the observation was, and I think the highlight over here was the agri theme that seems to be picking up pace. Now, please understand one thing. When these theme do come into limelight, and especially if it has seen a good rally in the near term, there is always a possibility of a correction or consolidation that can happen, that can throw the weak hands out of the market. So this is something that you need to be very, very mindful of, and just not get carried away. Basically, follow the trade process. So what see, I can tell you what I do, or what we do. So say for example, so for any stock, okay, for any stock, ideally, if the RMI is giving a sell crossover, okay, I would wait patiently for it to come down to the zero line, and then wait for a signal, because that gives me a little more. I mean, this helps me to be a little more disciplined, and and not to get carried away in a FOMO. Okay, that is what it does. We have explained in detail. If you go to the health section, and there is a video over here identifying best stocks for buy and sell opportunities using RMI. There we have given out how do we think about it. So maybe you can go through this video. If you have any doubts, I can always come and clarify in this 11 a.m session that we are doing. But I'm sure this will help you a lot. So I think that's it from my side today. If you have any questions, any issues, in understanding the concept, please let me know. I can help you. So when I'm seeing the question, Nifty on 15 minutes is still positive crossover. So there are hope. Uh, DV, honestly, I don't go to that lower extent in RMI, but let me see. If I do the interactive chart, but I mean, the process is the same, DV. I mean, you need to look if the hourly averages are broken on the upside or no. There is a very good chance. Uh, I mean, we are seeing this crossover, and the Nifty is still at the lower levels, right? So there is a possibility that we might end up seeing something like this. This is 15. So see, the averages are not broken on the upside. So that is where, I mean, see, it all boils down to then how lower time frame that you want to take. Usually I don't go below the 1 hour. Okay, so if it so hourly, so for me, to see some sort of reversal, for that I would need the these hourly averages to break on the upside, and then I would need the channel to break on the upside. Okay, and the third level of confirmation will be this. So when so ideally the way I would think is that if the averages are broken on the upside, then the channel is the level to watch out for. If channel is broken, then this is the resistance zone to watch out for. And that is how I would try to think and go step by step. So say for example, okay, if we get over here, and then somewhere in the sentiment indicators, it starts indicating that the daily sentiment has gone to 80 or so, then I'll be a little cautious and at least expect a pullback. And then in this pullback, I will try to assess how the overall setup is, and then take it from there. Okay, I mean, that is how I would tend to approach. Nice catch. Yes, yes, Narsimha Murthy. So actually, the volumes are very good. And typically what happens is that when the volumes are very good, then that's where everyone is rushing into it. So typically, in the next few days or few weeks, we do tend to get some sort of shakeout. Once that shakeout happens, and those stocks end up respecting some important support levels, and from there, if it starts turning around, um, those are usually the signs that a short term correction is done, and maybe they are now ready to fly higher again. uh, then there is a question: can you please check custom date in the earlier downfall and how do they look? Okay, let me do that. So yeah, if I have to think of the Nifty index and the decline in it, uh, I think the decline started all the way from 30th June, right? 30th June, and it's 28th July. So if I do the price action 30th June to current levels, so now you can see pharma, healthcare, consumer durables. These are all doing good, and in fact, there is a positive return. So in this same period, the Nifty index has actually corrected to almost around 3%. But in fact, the FMCG has, I mean, is positive, or you can say almost no. I mean, it hasn't even fallen, nor it has gained much. But basically, it has outperformed a bit. Even auto, I think auto also, I did briefly discuss about it. It is in a range. Okay, it is in a range, and it is trying to make a comeback. But you can see over here, if I draw the horizontal line, okay, so you can see that there are multiple resistance level over here. I think once this breaks, the heat map, which is sort of indicating that they have been an outperformer, that should play out. And if I remember correctly, I had spoken about few interesting setups as well. So if you see, say something like M&M, wait, let me go to the Rohit setup and show you. So if you see M&M, over there, it is basically around the resistance level. Okay, somewhere over here. It is trying to break out. I mean, so far it has not been able to break out. But I think if Nifty Auto does well, then say something like M&M, which has already been an outperformer, it can possibly do well. And then you can always go to RRG and check the RRG graph, who are into leading or who are into weakening. Uh, See, you can see over here, because M&M has been an outperformer, it has been rising higher. So anything which are on the right hand side, and they would be showing some signs of turnaround, or there is a big tail over here. So say for example, something like Bharat Forge, which is trying to improve. Then you can see Tata Motors, Bajaj Auto, they are all headed into right direction. So somewhere over there, these might end up becoming some interesting opportunities, and you might want to look at their chart individually and make those decisions. But that is what this is how actually heat map can help you. So MNCs also, it is just minus 1.09%. And when you see the RRG chart of only indices, so I had made a specific chart of only the index. Okay, over there, MNC had broken into the leading quadrant. Okay, so this was last week, I think. Yes. Now, you need to see if the momentum picks over here. If the momentum starts falling, then that might not be a good sign. So, somewhere when the correction does end for the Nifty index, you can always fall back to the RRG chart and see which are the sectors that are doing well or they are looking promising, right? That will really help you to find and spot the sectors that are that can potentially do well when the Nifty starts turning around. Okay. So Devish is asking how to check. Okay. So over here, you simply make any watch list and you can find it, or I am not sure if it is there in PSC or CPSC index IRDEA. I think it is not there over here. IRDEA. Okay. So you can also do one thing, but it will not get saved over here. But you can add IRDEA over here. Okay. It will come into the list. You can see it over here. If you want to analyze it on different time frames, you can do that. So right now the benchmark is PSC because you have added it in PSC. But even if you want to change it, and if you want to do it in Nifty 50, okay, you can do that as well, right? So this is also something you can do, and then you can check the time frames. So you can add it over here, or you can also make it in your watch list, and you can add it in your watch list, and you'll be able to see it. Uh, Long term view on CDSL. Okay, let me try. So, see, honestly, I was checking some capital good stocks, capital market stocks, and they're not really looking good. They have seen a stellar run, but somehow I'm starting to get a little skeptical, and I'll tell you the reason why. Okay, because the ones which were outperformers over there also we have started to see some breakdowns. So say something like MCX. Okay, NCX, the same concept is it was taking support at the 40-hour exponential average and it was rising higher. But now, it is trying to break on the downside. If you see the chart, uh, breakdown, I mean, there was a correction, then just a minor pullback. Okay, it did not even see a good retracement at all, and it is now trying to fall back. Okay, this is there. BSC, if you see, it is holding out so far, but I'm not too sure if again that might end up holding because there has been a negative divergence that we are seeing. Okay, so this chart is actually not adjusted. Anyways, we will be taking care of this in due course. But if you want to see, I mean, this RMI indicator, we have not moved to 5 minutes. So, I mean, 1 minute so far. So you can check over here as well. There is this BSC index. So it would be adjusted to everything. And you can see over here, it is starting to take resistance at the averages. And if you see the weekly chart also, the RMI has gone in bearish mode. If the 20-week breaks on the upside, it might not be a good sign. So this is another one. And if you actually plot the RSI, okay, there are multiple divergences that you are seeing on the monthly chart. So for BSC, I think it was one or two. Okay, so you can see that there is this triple divergence that is playing out over here. This. Okay, and there was a doji last time in the previous month. So not an encouraging setup. Even if I draw the trend line, so I think over here there has been break on the upside, but if I draw a renewed trend line somewhere over here, so it seems to be halting over there. So this is the channel that it is trading in the short term. The channel break happens, and it might be then that you need to be careful. The problem is that that channel itself is at a very lower end, like 1725 or so. So yes, but that is the context. The capital goods space, I mean the capital market space, lot of divergence are visible on many of the charts. Then the question is, when we get a new buy, then we enter the same day or wait for the next day. So, Dipti, see, ideally, the way to think about it is that firstly, a new buy can happen during the market. Okay, the confirmation of that new buy will happen only around 315, 320 when you are sure that actually a new buy is going to happen. Because what happens is that, say for example, the stock has gone up. Okay, it might look like that it's a new buy, but by the end of the day, the 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 uh, that new buy signal might not be there only because the stock has fallen, right? So the first initial part is that wait for the confirmation till 315 or so. Okay. The second part, as I have been mentioning many time earlier as well, let me just take the Nifty chart. So I'll help you. I'll try my best to make you understand. NSC index. Okay. So say for example, I'm on the hourly chart, right? Now, see, it can very well happen that if there is a little bit more push on the upside, then we might end up getting a bullish crossover in RMI, right? So then the resistance zone, the immediate resistance zone that we will be looking out for is the averages. Okay, there is a possibility of a rise up to the averages. If the averages breaks on the upside, then that's where we'll start thinking about more. But the broader idea is that if there is a bullish crossover and the prices are below the averages, at the best what you might expect is a pullback towards the averages. Okay, only if the averages breaks on the upside, then you have to see the overall how is the setup and so on. Okay, the best buy signals are the one where the prices are above the averages. So say something like this. Okay, I'll try to give you a now see something like this. There has been a bullish crossover over here. After that, there was a pullback where it halted around the averages, and now it is trying to give a crossover. I mean, these are usually the the good signals. So over here, it did falter after some point of time, but usually the trends are very strong, and if you're in an uptrend, so say something, I'll show you how it behaves, especially when we are in an uptrend. So wait, there is not much data. So I'll take the help of trading and I'll show you. See, when we are in the bullish trend, okay, say something like this. So what will usually happen is that after a up move, there will be a consolidation where it will go back to 40 and then it will try to turn up. Okay, again an up move, again a sideways consolidation and up move, sideways consolidation and up move. So all the signals that are happening, above the 40 and the prices are, sort of respecting over there, then, those end up becoming good signals. Okay. See, now just to give you an example, if I go to say RMI scanner, right? Sorry. So if I go to RMI scanner, right? If I make it buy, sorry, let me make it daily go new buy. Now, see, I'll try. Now, see, can you see this setup? Where it is trading above the averages and then a crossover is happening. Okay, this can be a relatively good setup. If I see Apex, okay, this is also holding above the averages and then there is a crossover. Now something like this, okay, where the averages, it is just nearby the averages and it is trying to turn around. Now over here, it will be very important to see the how the setup is. Okay, Bank of Baroda. I'm trying to find a bank. Now see something like this. If it is below the averages and there is a new buy that is happening, then it may not be a good sign. So yes, so something like this, say for example, Hexa, okay, it is trying to give a bullish crossover, but it is below the averages, then this may not necessarily be a good setup and you might need to wait for more confirmation. So that is how do we think about it. But Dipti, I would just urge you to go to help and learn about identifying the best opportunities for buy and sell through RMI. I've given you the starting point. Go through this video and I'm sure a lot of your doubts will be cleared. Akash is, we also follow US indices. This time divergence is very high. So Akash, you are right. At some point of time, things have to converge. So either the US market will come down or Indian market has to follow on the upside. I think it is all the trade deal issue that is happening, that is leading to this divergence. I mean, we saw a trade deal happening of US and EU. China is still going on. India, the talks are still going on. Maybe, I don't know, there is some nervousness related to the trade setup, and also the earnings are not helpful for the Indian markets. We are seeing some of the other accidents, like say Bajaj Finance, Kotak, and so on, right? Maybe that is something that is holding back. But you are right, the divergence is too high. At some point of time, it has to converge. So for it to resolve, two things has to happen. I mean, either US has to come down and India might be relatively okay, or Indian market has to follow on the upside. So let's see how this resolves. What is the usefulness of Bollinger Bands when you use moving averages and sentiment indicators? For sentiment indicators, I don't specifically use Bollinger Band, but we have made it a habit of looking at Bollinger Bands, because Bollinger Bands is nothing but the two standard deviation mark from the averages. So that sort of helps you to understand what can be the immediate downside level to watch out for, right? So that is why it is helpful. Apart from that, it is not like a deal breaker or something. I mean, even if you have it, it's fine. If you don't have it, it's fine. But sometimes the lower bands and the 40-day period, they are both at the same point, either on the upside or on the downside. And when a turnaround happens from there, those are typically a very good setup to watch out for. Yeah, so DV, you're right. BSc and Naukri, these things are happening. That is due to split and bonus. Just to give you a context, and we know this very well. The split and the bonus in the new screens, like the interactive chart where we have gone live with 1 minute, it is not handled over there. We will handle it very soon. But say if you see something like Naukri in Rohit setup, okay, there we have the adjusted chart. So you should not face this problem. But as soon as we are done with going live with the Rohit setup also with 1 minute, so just to give you a context, at this point of time, okay, the all the screens where the screens have not moved to 1 minute live, okay, so say something like Rohit setup, then the scanners, we are working on those screens to go live to 1 minute. I mean, we are testing it. There are some bugs in that. We should be able to go live, in the matter of next few days. Once that happens, we will adjust split, bonus, corporate actions like merger, demerger, so that the chart becomes more. I mean, you can probably analyze a lot better looking at the past history, because right now you're able to see those gaps. So we'll address that soon, as soon as we go live with the 1 minute for the rest of the screens. Okay. So I think with that we are done for today. So it's already 11:43 today. So thanks a lot. We will catch up tomorrow and see what happens. Right now, the Nifty index at the lower end of the channel. So let's see if the pullback happens, and is it able to break the averages on the upside or no. Okay. So thanks a lot, and let's catch up tomorrow and observe what the market does for us. So thank you and see you tomorrow.